Well, New South Wales has been warned to prepare for the worst bushfire season since the 2020 Black Summer fires. Already a number of blazes are burning across the state, including one in Bega Valley, which has been downgraded to a watch and act thanks to a much needed cool change. But fire season has just started and South Coast communities are worried about what's ahead, given we are not even halfway through spring. Joining me live now is former Bega MP Andrew Constance. Andrew, thanks so much for your time. In all seriousness, you must have a bit of PTSD looking back at what's happening right now on the South Coast.
Yeah, like thousands of Australians in our region, it's hard not to. There'll be a lot of triggers as a result of today. I'm very sorry for those poor families who've lost a home overnight. It's a terrible and sickening experience for those families to go through, and it takes years to rebuild. And so lives have changed yesterday as a result of this blaze. It's hard to believe that since 2018 we've had the Tathra fires where 70 homes were lost. We then had the Yankees Gap fire. There was half a dozen homes lost there, and then the big one in 2019, 2020, where there was close to 1,000 homes. And then, overnight we've lost more homes and we've lost lives. It's time to hug your loved ones a bit tighter today. Get talking to your friends and community members and just pick up the phone, make sure everybody's okay. There'll be people traumatised everywhere as a result of this. And I know a lot of people want the fires to just go away. They don't want to think about them, but here we are, beginning of the fire season, and we've lost homes already.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a bad season.
I mean, we're looking at the out-of-control fires burning in Bermagui at the moment. That's 20 minutes from Cobargo, just to give our viewers some kind of, view on how close this is. 4 years on, Andrew, we're halfway through spring. Have we learned anything? Are we, is the fire service as well prepared as it should have been?
Well, there's a couple of alarming things, I think, out of yesterday that worry me. I mean, first of all, I understand that the telecommunications tower went down for a couple of hours. Now, we've been promised the world that these types of things would be fixed. That needs to be investigated. When I saw a chamber representative on the television last night saying that the tower was down for 4 hours, that should have a backup supply and it should be switched on as quickly as possible. But more importantly, there should be other means. With all the digital communications we have, satellite technologies, we shouldn't have to be solely dependent on those towers. Now, what this says to me is that the government needs to be very clear on how prepared our telco towers are right across Australia in terms of preparedness for this fire season, because if they go down, then you're losing one of the most important forms of preparing the community during the disaster. And so that's important. I think there does need to be a natural disaster declaration made quick, because by the sounds of it, the council's lost infrastructure. Mental health supports, was very pleased to hear Rose Jackson say that there is going to be some wraparound services, but it's never enough. Ultimately looking after children through to our seniors community, something is very important. Trauma, I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning. First thing I thought about was obviously Bermagui and how those, my friends there and also the community I served for 19 years, how they were faring in those localities south. It was a tough day, and they're not out of the woods because it's still active. Might have a bit of rain on it today, but these types of fires, given the size of this, we can see off a rain event and arc up in the weeks ahead. So there's a lot of work that still will need to continue around this blaze, as there is going to be across all the blazes. And again, tributes to all of those firefighters. A lot of the firefighters on the fire ground yesterday lived through Black Summer. Some of them would have lost their homes in that event, and they'd be there fighting again, tooth and nail for our community. And, again, testament to their strength, their resilience, and the types of people that we have in the community on the far south coast. It's hard to believe it's been hit again, but this is the fourth major event in 5 years.
Yeah, and here we are again. Andrew Constance, we'll keep on having the conversation. Thanks so much for giving us your time this morning.